Okay, I have 7:00 p.m. I would like to bring our regular monthly meeting, bring it to, is it to order, into session? Oh my gosh. Anyways, pardon me. So yes, August 4th, 2025, let's call roll.
Here.
Hanlon,
Here.
Noggle,
Here.
Spoon,
Here.
Wagers.
Mostly here. Okay, stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, opportunity for the public to be heard? Anything? Nope.
Nope.
All right, moving on to Spirit Award.
I'll be doing this tonight.
It's about time.
We have an awesome Spirit Award tonight, and one of our proud recipients is in the crowd and on the board as well. And so we are just proud to have this bank in our community, and we are so honored to give this. It is a Spirit Award, and it is, if you don't know what a Spirit Award is, it is an award to those who have been recognized for achieving excellence through efforts in representing Sand Springs Public Schools and/or for improvement and accomplishments in their drive for self-improvement. And Ms. Schlehuber nominated Bank First of Sand Springs. So Ms. Schlehuber, you want to come up here with me? And all of Bank First, please join me up here as well. Is John up here? Is John here? Well, Bank First, it looks like you have something special here.
You can go ahead and I can explain this.
Well, I will read what Ms. Schlehuber wrote to you guys. It's awfully wonderful. So it says, we are thrilled to nominate Bank First for a Sandite Spirit Award. Bank First has made a generous contribution to the Child CPHS Special Olympics program, enabling the purchase of brand new equipment for our unified softball teams. This incredible act of kindness began when John Holson, president of Bank First, happened to pass by a practice session and noticed our team in action. He took the time to stop, thank our teachers for their dedication, and inquire if there was anything the program needed. When informed the new softball equipment was a pressing need, Mr. Holson invited the team to submit a proposal. Upon receiving the proposal, Bank First promptly agreed to fund the purchase in full. That's awesome. We are deeply grateful for this support. It is always encouraging when members of our community recognize the important work being done with our students and respond with such generosity. This donation will make a meaningful difference in the experiences and opportunities available to our athletes.
Yes.
I will take this opportunity to let you know that that is the awards part of the meeting, and then next part is all the nuts and bolts of it. So if you would like to go, you are welcome to head out. Okay, Ms. Durkee, are you ready?
Yes, I am ready. And I'm just going to take you through each of the components. We'll start with student empowerment and staff empowerment under number 5. I really ought to defer to Mr. Beard to talk, to be honest, because he has had almost every room in this building available for space to meet occupied, and so we've struggled a little bit finding extra places if we wanted to creep in and have a meeting somewhere. But teachers have come, music teachers, IT teachers, for new curriculum. We had the new bus rider training today. What else is going on, Sean? There was some special ed.
Today was the car rider training.
Okay.
I mean, my ultimate goal is to find so many spaces to use so that you can't meet
Right,
anywhere.
exactly.
But
I figured
No,
that out real fast.
but it's going to keep going because tomorrow we've got transportation training, we've got finance training going on tomorrow. Wednesday, Thursday, we've got essential standards training for all math and language arts elementary teachers, and then it's just next week. It's just August is a wonderful time for me.
It's
So
showtime. Teachers show up next Thursday for our opening assembly. I hope you all can come.
and we have the Rotary luncheon on
And
Friday for
Rotary,
new
yep.
teachers too. So
Absolutely. So lots
Yeah.
of fun, bustling before school starts. And then, of course, kids show up on the 19th. I want to get that right. The 20th? 20th. Ugh. So here's my confusion. Connor and I, my little one who's in Bixby, we're having a contest to see who starts first. And anyway, Bixby won, but they start the night. We're the 20th. So there's just lots of hustle and bustle. We had leadership retreat last Thursday and Friday, which was super. You're holding the book at your table of the platform we're using to spark our theme, which is the power of moments, and spotlight Sandites. So kind of recognizing the big and the small. I think we do a really good job recognizing the big, but sometimes we miss the small moments that we can orchestrate. So super excited about the new year. Thank you to Mr. Noggle. He hates it, and his wife Erin when I recognize him. But 2 extremely generous donations again for our wrestling program and girls powerlifting. So I'm excited about both of those. You all know that girls powerlifting is kind of new. We also have a new but yet old wrestling coach back in the helm as well, and people are pretty excited about that. So thank you, Mr. He needs all the help he can get. I'm going to tell him you said that. You're going to see our cell phone policy back on the board agenda tonight under item number 42. It was Angela Ragland actually brought it to our attention that Boyd has had processes in place for a while with students keeping them in the locker, and our policy didn't really allow for that. It said students may, so we didn't want to get parents calling because their procedure was in conflict. They'll continue to keep those in their locker. Obviously, high school doesn't have enough lockers for everyone, but we just added a little bit of language unless otherwise specified by a specific school site. So that's a change that will be a one and done ask. And then just again, a mention of the back to school assembly next week on August the 14th, starting promptly at 8 o'clock. I've been muffled by Sean Beard to not speak very long because we do have an AI speaker coming that's nationally renowned. So very excited about that. Yes, yes. Okay, moving on to item number 6, if you're ready.
Yes.
This is facilities, finance. Building projects are going really well. Again, Mr. Mullins, thank you for heading to the meetings. We were at the retreat, so he attended solo, I think, by himself last week. Boyd's on schedule. This one's the admin. It was a very short meeting. Because I'm not talking. I know. I have a tendency. But this project is being delayed a little bit just because it's adding on to an old building can be a challenge. And so we're going to get in it by September, the end of September, we hope. So good news is we're not in a hurry like we will be with Boyd. We met with our team today regarding furniture for Boyd and the press box project, which will release construction docs right after football season is over with. We're hoping to start. So lots going on in the building world. We are have yet to receive state aid. I made mention of that in an email I sent out to you guys earlier this month. Typically, state aid allocation notices come mid-July. We haven't gotten ours yet, so we're a little bit on pins and needles. It is August the 4th, and it's rare that we don't have those yet. It was announced that the Trump administration is, in fact, have released federal funding. Again, we're hearing those are at the state level, but yet to see our allocation, so hopefully they're going to come soon. As you all know, we have several employees tied up in those federal projects that are very intimately involving our kids and services to our children. So I'm hoping to get those really soon, and I will absolutely let you know when we get those. Unless you have questions about all things finance, we'll move on. Communication, community involvement, it was interesting. Every year, news stations want to come out and interview each district, and it's kind of like a celebrate the beginning of the school year. I was asked to do a little 1-minute video for Channel 8, but then Channel 2 came specifically and did an in-person interview last week with me and asked every hotbed question that you can imagine, from Bibles to standards to CEP to just basically anything. We didn't receive those questions in advance, so I just made a comment and said, yeah, you're asking everything. She goes, yes. So in an attempt to stay politically correct, to be honest, we answered all of them. So I really don't know what's going to air on Channel 2, so they clip the things they want to clip, and then they move on. So I was even asked about the current state of affairs with the state superintendent, of which I said is not something I know about firsthand. So we will focus on our students in beginning the school year, so we'll see how that works. We did leave the office, and Lisa said, well, you did pretty good. I said, thanks. She said, we probably will vet that one next year. I just think that they should, in all honesty, give you a little bit of a heads up if they're going to come armed with questions that are interesting. So tomorrow we'll be having a parent meeting with our Northwoods and / Limestone staff in regard to the current events that we were dealing with last week. We'll have counselors available just for people that want to process through the really egregious event that happened last week. So I just needed to say that that's something that's really hard to live through, to be honest. And so we want to make sure we're honoring our families that have questions. Okay, and that I think is it for communication, unless you guys have questions.
Health and safety.
Yep. Mr. Smith attended a national conference last week. He was not at our retreat. I felt like it was more important for him to be where he was at. He lost his mom. I don't think he would mind telling you guys that, so just keep him kind of in your thoughts and prayers if you so will. That's a hard thing. Also at the retreat, we talked about emergency plans, all those things pertaining to the yearly training that we have to do with our staff before school starts. And then, as Sean said, we started training on the new car rider system this week, so that'll be in place. It was, I thought, very well received by those folks that are participating in car rider lines at the end of the day. I loved it. There's a lot of bells and whistles to the system that will flag things that you need to know before you release a student to a parent or guardian. So that went well, and we're just ready for school. I'm ready for school to start, to be honest. We get to this place and I'm ready for everyone to come back. So questions about anything in my report?
Any questions? Okay, consent agenda.
Yeah. So just a couple of things on the consent agenda I would like to bring to your attention. Not anything that you haven't seen before, but I thought it might, I would mention item number 13 because we did have just a little note under the junior high dance team and a transfer of the dollars that were fundraised being not given, but for the older sibling on the dance team, just so you know what you're approving. That's a little bit different than what we usually see with activity count. Number 19, just know there's a change. I know you're aware, but the OSSBA Leadership Conference is in September, not August, which is different than it usually is. I think they sent out notification to all you all regarding points, so I think you have all of that. And lastly, item number 34, just know that these are digital communication platforms that the district, we're going to ask you to approve those every year. They're exactly the same as last year, except that we added eCadence as an additional resource for teachers to use when communicating with students. So, I also want to mention number 35. I didn't circle it on my thing, but that's the RIF policy, the reduction in force. We reviewed, Ms. Arnold brought that to our attention, that it was pretty aged, honestly. This is first read. We're not in a real big hurry to get that passed. We want to get it right, but honestly, in light of the lack of federal funds, we're getting the appropriation that was appropriated already for this year federally. I don't know what that's going to be like next year at this same time, whether there'll be an additional freeze, and if so, that's going to affect a lot of our people, so we wanted to make sure we had that policy clean. So you'll see that in first read tonight, and we'll be adding that as approval for next month. So questions about the consent agenda?
Any questions?
I appreciate you including the Johnson O'Malley handbook. I learned some things in there that
Right,
years, but it was a great history lesson
right, absolutely.
through that particular
Yeah.
document.
It's interesting because Indian Ed, they yield federal dollars, and that was another kind of question mark. Are those going to get released? Which that was never on the table to freeze, which is good. But I know you've seen a difference in the last year or so with Ms. Rowley at the helm, and just the things that you see in terms of activities, the culturally relevant activities that she's incorporating has been amazing. It's a little bit different in how the other federal programs operate regarding the drawdowns, and so it's helpful for you to see that information. So thank you, Mr. Mullins.
Okay, any more questions?
Make a motion, we accept the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Can we vote, please?
Mullins,
Aye.
Hanlon,
Aye.
Noggle,
Aye.
Spoon, Wagers.
Aye. Okay, action items. Number 36, proposed executive session to discuss temporary teacher recommendations for the 2025-2026 school year. No? Okay. Number 37, proposed approval
Go ahead.
Proposed approval of temporary teacher recommendations for the 2025-2026 school year.
Make the motion, we accept item 37.
Okay, a second.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? A vote, please.
Mullins,
Aye.
Hanlon,
Aye.
Noggle,
Aye.
Spoon,
Aye.
Wagers.
Aye. Okay, 38, proposed executive session to discuss employment recommendations for the 2025-2026 school year. Okay. Number 39, proposed approval of employment recommendations for the 2025-26 school year.
Make a motion for 39.
Okay,
Second.
okay, we have a motion and a second. Vote.
Are we fully staffed?
We had one resignation, Ms. Arnold, today, who is getting out of the profession completely. It makes me sad. Candace Marshall submitted her resignation today at Angus. I know, I hate to announce that without you seeing it, but we didn't have time to get it on the agenda. Yes,
Yeah.
but she sent me a very sweet email. She got an opportunity to do some physical training. I'm gonna get it all wrong, but if you see her, we're gonna miss her a bunch because she's just,
Amazing.
yeah, that personality, but it was
Oh.
time, so we'll see. I told her we would welcome you back in a heartbeat, so let us know if you change your mind, but she did submit her resignation today, so not quite. We'll get there, but we have one opening that'll be, I don't know if it's posted, Ms. Arnold, already. Nope, it's just happened today, so you'll see. Oh, well, there you go.
I think one's pretty good.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
so too.
I agree.
Especially if something was just now put in.
Right, absolutely.
And it will be filled quick.
I think so.
Sure.
I'm telling you, in today's age, I'm still having a hard time with the Sandite Transition Academy. I know, but I'm just. Transitioning from childhood to post-secondary adulthood. Yeah. Not in today's age. That transition does not mean that. Can we, can we, like the Sandite Moving On Academy? Or
Moving on.
Moving on up, Academy, we don't know. But Carrie had some good news. We applied for 1 out of 2 districts in the state. Talk about that for a minute.
So we got a Pathways to Partnership grant, which is a 3-year grant cycle, and it's about $40,000 a year, where we're trickling our transition academy down to the middle school level. I think we've talked about it before. We're hiring we have a job coach hired to do transition, and we're starting 2 businesses at the middle school. One will be plant propagating, and then they're gonna sell actual plants. And then the other one is a mobile spiritware store that they'll do at the middle school. And you already knew that we got the grant, but when I went to the grant training with the State Department today, I found out we were one of only 2 districts in the state who got the grant. So
I know.
That's
Good job.
awesome.
Not that we're
Love
gloating
that.
or anything, but I'm pretty proud.
That's
So,
awesome.
good.
Okay. We had a motion by Mr. Mullins and a second by Ms. Hanlon. Vote, please. Oh, it was Mr. Noggle. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Mullins,
Aye.
Hanlon,
Aye.
Noggle,
Aye.
Spoon,
Aye.
Wagers.
Aye. And number 40, proposed approval to convene into executive session to consider the appeal of a denied student transfer.
I make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, motion and a second. Vote, please.
Mullins,
Aye.
Hanlon,
Aye.
Noggle,
Aye.
Spoon,
Aye.
Wagers.
Aye.
Waiting.
Yeah, we like to turn that air way down. Thank you, John. I appreciate it. I've been good. Thank you. I feel great.
freezing in your office.
No, it was very nice. It was nice and warm.
Okay, we are now in open session, and the time is 7:33 PM. While in executive session, the board discussed the student transfer denial. No other matters were discussed, and no votes were taken.
I'll make
Okay.
a motion, we accept the decision of the superintendent to deny transfer request of student A.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Vote, please.
Mullins,
Aye.
Hanlon,
Aye.
Noggle,
Aye.
Spoon,
Aye.
Wagers.
Aye. Okay, number 42, proposed approval of new and revised policies to add to the district policy manual.
So these are, we're asking for first read and approval. Most are a requirement based on a rule that was approved by the legislature. So standards of performance for the conduct of teachers has additional language in it that you'll notice in red, specifically including anti-Semitism, which is certain perception of Jews on item D, and you scroll down, and there's another piece, knowing and willful failure to report suspected child abuse and neglect, all because of rules. So that's a change in standards of conduct. That will also be on the handbook as well in that format. Suspension, non-renewal of teachers, termination, again, there's additional language that was added because of a rule. If you go on down to the very end, it's about disclosing public information to correct the support employee reasonably believes evidence. It's just making sure we're held accountable for following the Constitution and rule of law. So those are as a result of rules. And then student transfers, this has to do with language embedded in our policy FE, which was revised not too long ago, but we marked out this section referring to students of parents who are active military. And the reason we struck it there is because there's an actual new policy, FEG, that addresses children of active duty, so it's segregated. So that's the reason. And then the last one we already talked about, the personal electronic devices. If you look at the red in the first sentence, in parentheses, it says unless otherwise directed by a school site procedure, which would apply to Boyd. So students would not be able to keep those devices on their person during the school bell to bell. I would make one comment just because we had some questions from parents regarding cell phone. Couple things came up, that one, and then would a student athlete be able to use a cell phone on the bus heading to a game if they had to leave school early? We're saying yes, because ultimately they're leaving school, the bell has rung for them.
Right.
So bell to bell at school would be over at that point. So unless we're told otherwise, that's how we're interpreting that situation. Yeah, it was a great question. And we'll get more, probably something will come up that we haven't thought about. So just kind of so you're aware of that.
Can I ask what the process will be when the questions come up? Will it be site-specific or will it?
Just it depends, Mike. I mean, you never know when questions will arise, and we go back to the drawing board with our leadership team to try to reason through it. Most of those will be handled in site procedures versus district policy. The one about on the person was a big difference with policy, and I could see getting some feedback that would be negative. We're confronted all the time with specific situations that aren't specifically addressed in policy that we have to go back to the table for. Just so you're aware, Angela Noel was able to write a grant to get dollars to buy what I'm calling pouches. I think that's actually what they're called, but they're lockable. So if, say, a student is caught with a phone, using a phone on campus, we would ask them to put it away. If we got non-compliance, then we'd ask them to come to the office, put it in the pouch, because the pouch is lockable. So the phone stays with them. They just can't use it because it's locked in a pouch. And then at the end of the day, they can come to the office and get it released from the pouch. So that's how we're handling any kind of behavior from a student that would be otherwise compliant with that rule. So just so you know kind of how that's going to work. Yes. Oh, fantastic. And Lisa apparently is working on FAQs as we speak. So Any
All
other
right.
questions?
Go
Make
ahead.
a motion to accept item 42 is posted.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Vote, please.
Mullins. Hanlon.
Aye.
Noggle.
Aye.
Spoon.
Aye.
Wagers.
Aye. Okay, any matter not known about or which could not have been reasonably foreseen prior to the posting of this meeting?
There is not.
Any announcements?
Before or after Oklahoma City?
Oh, it's after,
Oh.
because the first, I believe, of September is Labor
Is
Day.
Labor Day.
So then we meet the 8th, but that weekend will be OSSBA, yeah.
Wouldn't that count as a?
No. You gotta post them, unfortunately, gotta comply.
Any other announcements?
No.
None.
Okay,
I make a motion to adjourn.
How'd you do that?
I let her have.
I'll second.